Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mount Olive Township Workshop and Council Meeting for December 5th, 2017. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for all the men and women that serve and protect us. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Susan, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda? Mr. Ferrante?
Here.
Mrs. Leibau? Here. Mr. Mania?
Here.
Mr. Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Roman?
Here.
Mr. Nacastro?
Here. Thank you. We have a couple of proclamations. Mayor, we have a proclamation to join together in the Sister City Partnership with Campania, Italy.
Yes, actually, this relates to Fratelli Beretta, who is obviously a corporation which has their headquarters in their American headquarters in Mount Olive. I met with them about a month ago. They proposed the idea. I thought it was great. And so we're moving forward with the idea of sister cities, and I'll read the proclamation. Whereas the cities of Mount Olive Township, New Jersey, and Carpania, Italy have expressed their desire to join together in a sister city partnership, and whereas the parties hope to create a strong bond built over time between our communities, and whereas we believe it to be in our collective interest to broaden and strengthen both familial relationships and personal friendships, and whereas we place similar values on cultural understandings, environmental stewardships, youth leadership, and exchanges to educate and inform citizens, and whereas we will identify activities common to all that can generate new initiatives to further nurture economic, social, and cultural relationships, and whereas both cities are committed to mutual support for organizing and developing the experiences, activities, and future programs of the sister city relationship in pursuit of a fulfilling partnership. Now therefore, I, the Mayor of Mount Olive Township, do believe that this pact will further contribute to the enhanced development of friendly relations between the people of Italy and the United States and our two cities. And further, I fix my signature and our city seals on the declaration to establish our relationships as sister cities. Signed, sealed by me, Robert J. Greenbaum, Mayor of Mount Olive Township. I can tell you that Fratelli Beretta has been a wonderful citizen of the Township of Mount Olive. They have prospered in Mount Olive to date, and they have this relationship with Carpania. It was really a wonderful experience sitting with the president of the company. They're going to be here on Thursday at 2:30. We're going to exchange the proclamation, which I had actually prepared. If you haven't seen it, Colleen, because I'm not sure that you were here when it was passed around.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you have to, what happened to it? It's right here? Why don't you bring it up then?
Oh, okay.
Why don't you bring it up to show what,
Oh,
Thanks.
okay, I did see it when it was right here.
yeah, so we are
Very
going
nice.
to present that to,
Sam Elliott.
yes, Sam Elliott. We're going to present that to our sister city, and we look forward to whatever will come from that relationship, which can only be positive at this point. So I'm very pleased to enter into that agreement.
They're calling
relationship.
they're calling their line Mount Olive. Their
They do
cheeses
have a,
and-
Fratelli Beretta has a line that they're calling Mount Olive.
That is so cool.
It's very cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, so we look to, as you know, I always look for opportunities to expand our business relationships and opportunities in Mount Olive. And this is really along the lines of what we have always done as a township. So very happy, very proud, and look forward to going to Italy to meet with the leaders in Carpania as soon as possible.
They also supported the Chamber's food drive this year as well. They were an active member of it.
As I said, they have been a wonderful corporate citizen of the Township of Mount Olive, and we always look to further those relationships as best we can.
Rob, I'd like to go to Italy with you as an interpreter.
I'll go as a joke person.
Thank you. Next
funny,
up,
Colleen.
next up, we have another proclamation, Mayor, right?
I do.
Honoring the donors and benefactors of the
This
holiday house.
actually, I have 3 proclamations all rolled into one. Honoring the donors and benefactors to the Holiday House. If you haven't been up there, I've been up there twice already. The Holiday House was moved off of Route 46, which was really a traffic issue and safety concern. It's been moved up to Turkey Brook. And it was only possible as a result of the benefactors, which we're now about to honor. So I'll read this. Honoring donors and benefactors to the Holiday House. Whereas Mount Olive Township respects and values its generous donors and benefactors to the Holiday House project, Dorsey and Semro, Hunkley Entities, and McGarry Electric. And whereas Mount Olive Township wishes to observe the efforts of all parties in relocating the Holiday House to Turkey Brook Park for the Mount Olive Kiwanis Club. And whereas Mount Olive Township wishes to provide a safe location for the Holiday House made possible by Dorsey and Semro, Hunkley Entities, and McGarry Electric. And whereas the generous donations of Dorsey and Semro, Hunkley Entities, and McGarry Electric have made the new Holiday House a reality. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Robert Greenbaum, Mayor of Mount Olive Township, do hereby proclaim Saturday, November 25th, 2017, as Dorsey and Semro, Hunkley Entities, and McGarry Electric Day in the Township of Mount Olive. Signed by me, Mayor of Mount Olive Township. So I'm going to pass this over to you, Sue, so that you can bring it to Dorsey and Semro.
Thank you so much.
And we do really appreciate everything that you guys do to participate in Mount Olive Township, and certainly pass that along to Fred.
Thank you.
And the other 2, we'll make sure that they make it to those entities as well. So, once again, all of us working together to make Mount Olive a better place to live and better for our community.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. We have 2 items for discussion. Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you, Council President. I received a request from the Habitat for Humanity for financial assistance to finalize their COA project on Wallman Ave. Throughout the years, we've expended money to assist them with the construction, extending their sewer lines. So the final stage is to charge them for the cost to hook up the sewer, which is for the EDUs, which is approximately $30,000. Initially, my thought was to decline the request because they have historically paid for it themselves. But I have spoken to Chuck, the planner, who's currently working on the next spending plan, and we do have money available in the trust fund. Our only real obligation moving forward is the cobblestone project, so it wouldn't be a terrible use of COA trust money to assist in finalizing this project.
On behalf of the administration, I can tell you that we support their application to use funds from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And having affirmed that the funds are available, I would recommend that the council pass this as something which benefits the community in providing affordable housing to Mount Olive Township.
Mr. Owen?
I'm glad to hear that Chuck said that there's more than enough funds in there, and it won't hamper any future projects. And, you know, I too would like to see forward in helping them out with this expense. You know, Habitat for Humanity has done a great deal, not only throughout New Jersey, Morris County, but definitely in Mount Olive. So I think we should definitely help them out.
Okay, everybody,
I concur.
we're all in favor?
Yep.
Move forward with it.
There'll be a resolution on the next meeting to
Perfect.
finalize the
Great.
spending plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess next item is the park ordinance. While you're up.
I put back on the agenda the park ordinance. I've gone through our code book, just to give you some examples of some of the fees that are already established in the park. Some other examples to show you what some of the fines are. You want to make sure that the fine for littering in the playgrounds is reasonable. So it's up to your discretion if you want to set a minimum fine of $100, of $250. If you want it to be a first offense, second offense type situation. It's up to you.
The whole purpose of the ordinance is not to collect money, it's to change the habits of those who utilize our facilities. And so the real effort is to put up signage which will alert people as to the potential fines. It's collecting the fines is not something that we're really interested in, nor do I think that it's really feasible in most instances. So I think that, as we had discussed early on, setting a high level for the fine so that we can put it up, so that people may take a second thought in terms of what they're doing in the facility, cleaning up after themselves, is really the purpose of this ordinance.
Agreed, that's what we discussed.
Yep.
Just to deter them from doing it is the goal.
That's really all that it's about, is give them some education, let them take a second thought in terms of what they're doing with their kids. It doesn't really take much effort to clean up after oneself.
No. So we're just gonna post, we're really just posting signs up now, we'll be posting signs with the fines, that's really what we want to
I
do.
mean, the bottom line is that the fines would be available to the prosecutor to the
Right.
extent that anyone violates it, but really, what is the likelihood that there's going to be any enforcement, real enforcement? If it gets out of hand, I guess there could be, on a particular instance, there might be, but ultimately, the goal is to just deter the conduct which has been raised as a problem in the park.
Mr. Roman?
I mean, I guess I see this as a multi-tiered effect. We'll start with this and put the signage, monitor how it happened, this spring and summer, and then revisit again if behavior is not modified.
We still want to amend the ordinance, though, to prohibit the littering in the splash pad in the
Yeah.
park, though, correct?
Correct.
Definitely.
Okay, okay.
Correct.
That, Joe,
Yes, I'm
that
sorry.
includes all the park, even if you're on the trails and everything else, too?
It was specific for those two facilities.
That's where the, really where the
Where the
issue has
concentration
been.
is right now,
And
yeah.
that's where the issue has been raised.
Egregious.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So that's what we're dealing with right now. We can always revisit it again. Again, the point is not to collect the fines, but it's to deter the conduct.
Make awareness, yeah.
Yes.
And you do have the standard no littering ordinance anyway, so
Right.
that would cover that area. Okay.
Thank you. We have 14 resolutions. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Roman?
Resolution number 10 regarding New Jersey Door Works. Can you give me the scope of that resolution? What do we need?
This resolution was already passed. We're just revising the resolution to include different account numbers that we're charging.
Okay.
But it was doors and door parts that were used in the Public Works Department.
Okay, that was the reason why I questioned it, because I thought we already took care of this.
We did.
All right, and for number 12, the closing of the bridge, do we have a plan in place to alert residents in the area? I know sometimes the state is not great about alerting people of incoming doom.
Well, no. You know, the problem here, and I've certainly already put it up on my Facebook page and asked that it be put up on the township webpage. But we don't know exactly when they're going to be finished. They seem to be pressing on it at a pretty good clip. And there is some discussion that they will open the bridge prior to actual completion based upon safety issues, based upon temporary decking and asphalt. So we're not exactly sure when the bridge will be open. We're hopeful that it will be open sometime before the end of December as it had originally been planned, at least in a temporary state. So it's one of those issues that is not necessarily a particular neighborhood related. It's really a town issue. And without any real control over the project, because Morris County is undertaking it, and without any real knowledge in terms of when it's actually going to be completed, it's kind of hard to put out information. But what I will direct the administration to do is to take a look at the signage which is out there right now, and to have them press with Morris County to change it to reflect what they're telling us in terms of their completion date. I'm hopeful that by the end of December, we will at least have some access over the bridge, albeit in a temporary asphalt situation.
Mr. Roman?
Are we aware of any program which we can alert, say, the GPS systems whenever road closures do happen? Because I can imagine that if that doesn't appear on somebody's directions, it'll really throw them out. I don't know if there's already a system in place that we can alert them.
I'm not aware of any, and I'm not sure that it comes up that often, that it's something that is worth the effort to alert the citizenry about. I mean, for instance, the bridge has been closed, the notices went up months and months and months in advance of the closing. I'm sure that there are people who visit Mount Olive who didn't know that the bridge was closed at the time. I'm not sure that there is a program or that GPS can be changed temporarily to reflect that. But, you know, the detour is not so substantial. I mean, you're probably talking about a 5-minute detour in totality. And I think it's just not something that we're going to pursue.
All right, the only reason, because, I mean, I use Waze, and it's amazing how when something happens, it is quickly alerted.
Instantaneous.
Instantaneous, so,
You just use it to find out where the police are.
exactly. And so I don't know if that's something that we would be interested in utilizing a system of that sort, that we can, whenever there's situations that we need to alert the public, because we can maybe avoid excessive, traffic situations. Just putting it out there, not requesting anything in specific, but just, I would, direct to at least look into the feasibility, just to make, people's commuting time better.
We'll take a look at it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything on any resolutions?
No, I have none.
We have two ordinances, one for the township entitled Salaries of Certain Non-Union Personnel, and the other establishing salaries for mayor, council, department heads, supervisory personnel, employees of the township clerk's office. Any questions on those? Nothing on those? Do we have any old business? Seeing none, do we have any new business? Seeing none, does anyone from the public wish to be heard at this time? Seeing none, close to the public. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? None. I open up the Mount Olive Township Council meeting for December 5th, 2017. Susan, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the municipal building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amianda? Mr. Ferrante?
Here.
Mrs. Labow?
Here.
Mr. Mania?
Here.
Mr. Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Roman?
Here?
Mr. Nacastro?
Here. Mr. Roman, would you approve the minutes from the previous meeting for November 21st workshop and public meeting, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I move for approval of the meetings of November 21st, 2017, workshop and public meeting.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Abstain.
Mrs. Labow?
Abstain.
Mr. Mania?
Abstain.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. We have 14 pieces of correspondence. Does anyone have any questions on the correspondence? Seeing none, I open the hearing to the public on ordinance number 25-2017, an ordinance of the town, ordinance amending ordinance number 28-2016 of the Township of Mount Olive, entitled Salaries of Certain Non-Union Personnel. Mr. Ferrante?
Try and move for adoption and final passage ordinance number 25-2017.
Second.
Does anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, close to the public. Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mrs. Labow?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Ordinance number 25-2017 is passed on second reading, and I hereby direct the clerk to forward a copy of the same to the mayor and publish the notice of adoption as required by law. I open the hearing to the public on ordinance number 26-2017, an ordinance of the Township of Mount Olive, amending ordinance number 27-2016, which established salaries for mayor, council, department heads, supervisory personnel, and employees of the Township Clerk's office. Ms. Labow?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption and final passage of ordinance number 26-2017.
Second.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, close to the public. Any council comments, discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Ordinance number 26-2017 is passed on second reading, and I hereby direct the clerk to forward a copy of the same to the mayor and publish the notice of adoption as required by law. We have 14 resolutions. Does anyone wish to move anything on consent? Seeing none, do we have a motion, Mr. Mania, to move resolutions 1 through 14?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the consent resolutions 1 through 14.
Second.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard on any? Seeing none, close to the public. Any council comments, concerns, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Was it 13 or 14 resolutions?
There was 14.
14.
Yeah, it is
What
amended.
was
There's a
added?
revised
I'm sorry. yeah.
Right, so,
Agenda.
yes.
and Mr. Nacastro.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Stewart, would you move the bill list, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption and final passage, the bill list.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on the bill list? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes. Administrative reports. Andrew, Mayor?
I'll start. First of all, if you weren't there Saturday night for the football game, it was a tremendous effort by the Mount Olive High School football team in the state championship game. I want to congratulate them on a great season. They went from, I think, 1-9 to 10-1, 10-2 after the final game. They brought a tremendous amount of pride to our community and really brought out the entire community to the game. There was very few people who weren't at the football game. Colleen.
I know. So,
Just
must
a
have
little-
been the
little
stadium
give back.
seats.
It was tremendous. So after the game, we were able to put together a police, fire, and rescue squad escort back once they hit Mount Olive, and I'm sure that it raised the spirits of the entire team, and I know that it raised the spirits of the community because I got tremendous feedback. Kudos to Lisa Brett, who organized the community effort to get people to the game and organized the dinner for the football team prior to the game, and then organized the escort that they got back after the game. So she did a tremendous job. And as you know, one of the most important things that I have tried to accomplish since I became mayor is to create a sense of community. This really was a great effort on behalf of Lisa to further that goal.
Also, a nice recognition when they did get back here too, up at the school.
Yeah, well, that was the
Yeah.
escort that came in
Yeah.
terms of,
And if I might add, I think by the size of the Mount Olive crowd at MetLife Stadium, I think Mount Olive was probably a ghost city.
like I said, other than Colleen, I don't think there was anybody that wasn't at the game.
No, it's at an Italian dinner.
It's too late. Too late, Colin. All right, the tree lighting for Mount Olive is this Friday, December 8th at 7 p.m. Festivities to follow at the Senior Center following the tree lighting. Unfortunately, I will not be here this year. I have an obligation with my 15-year-old daughter to take her, not go in, but to take her to Jingle Ball. So I can't make it. Of more importance, Helen Giles, our public health nurse, will be recognized on Friday, December 7th. I think it's Thursday, December 7th, actually, at 6:30 at Pierre's Restaurant, Monmouth Junction, as this year's recipient of the New Jersey Local Board of Health Association Certificate of Achievement for outstanding work in her field. Since she has been nominated for the award, I've heard from mayors from 3 other towns where we have local, interlocal agreements, also telling me how proud they are of her and what a great job she does in those towns. So congratulations to Helen Giles. Of interest, the first group and the Mount Olive Robotics team, Mort, would like to invite everyone to the 2017 First Lego League, which is the middle school competition. the New Jersey North Championship to be held on Saturday, December 9, 2017 at Mount Olive High School, 18 Corey Road in Flanders. FLL teams from across northern Jersey will gather to share their experiences and compete together in the season's game, Hydrodynamics. We will celebrate team accomplishments and first commitment to global participation. The event will start at 9 a.m. with teams giving presentations in 3 areas: project work, robot design, and core values. The robot competition rounds will start at 1:20 p.m. after a lunch break and opening ceremonies at 1 p.m. The closing ceremonies are scheduled to follow and start around 4 p.m. There's no admission charge to this event. If you don't know about FIRST and FLL, I can tell you from personal experience, having had both a son who went through the program and a daughter who's currently in the FIRST program, which is the high school program. It is a tremendous national organization that puts more scholarship money into high school students' hands than athletics does on an overall basis. My son received scholarship offers from just about every school that he applied to based upon his involvement in FIRST, other than, of course, the school that he ended up going to. He ended up going to the University of Michigan. Very proud of him, and is graduating this year, but remains involved as an alumnus of the FIRST, and still to this day, the most interesting conversations that I have with him involve the discussions about his robotics participation. And it's not just kids who are engineering minded, it is a business, it is a community involvement organization that offers opportunities in many areas of life. And it's one of the best things that Mount Olive has capitalized in terms of what the high school offers.
I'm exceedingly pleased at the number of girls that participate in the program. It is a pleasure to see that.
Yes. The last that I have is that the Hanukkah Festival of Lights will be Tuesday, December 12th at 6:30 at Town Hall, with, I assume, festivities to follow at the Senior Center as well. So we look to honor all of the different religions and ethnicities that live in Mount Olive. And the guys on Buildings and Grounds have done a great job in terms of creating different types of things for our lawn that represent all of the different groups that celebrate during this holiday season. So kudos to them, and I wish I could be at the Christmas tree lighting. It's the first time that I'm missing it since we've reinstituted it when I became mayor, and I'm hopeful that you guys can attend and pick up or drive my daughter to Jingle Ball, which is fine too. And I'll attend you. Lastly, I just really need to thank Fred Semero and Dorsey and Semero, because every single time that we have needed participation, they have stepped up to the plate on behalf of the community. Please pass our warmest thoughts to Fred during the holiday season, and pass along the fact that we don't take for granted the fact that your firm gives back to this community time and time again. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. All good, Andrew?
Yes, thank you.
Any old business? Seeing none, any new business? Seeing none, any legal matters?
Thank you, Council President. First off, thank you for those kind words, Mayor, and it was our pleasure to be able to support the community. So on behalf of Fred and everyone at Dorsey and Semero, thank you very much, and I will pass on your kind words to Fred especially. Second, I just wanted to give a little update on affordable housing, which is coming to a close hopefully next month, believe it or not. Our compliance hearing is scheduled for January 12th. This week I've been busy placing notices in all the local newspapers, which is sort of the final hoop we have to jump through in terms of notice. A letter will be going out to the service list, which sort of notifies the world about the compliance hearing. Chuck, your planner, is putting the final touches on the revised housing plan, and of course the rezoning ordinance will be on the agenda for adoption at the next meeting. So hopefully everything will go well, and this will come to fruition next month. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Council reports. Mr. Ferranti, anything on Lake Environmental or Library?
Nothing for the library. I received this afternoon the latest lake water analysis from aquatic analysts. And I haven't had a chance to review it yet, but from my understanding, the water warning advisory posting still stands. And the NJDEP will continue to do additional analysis. I did forward the results of the survey to the Lake Association and Environmental Commission.
Thank you. Ms. Labo, anything on environmental, TNR, or open space?
No.
Mr. Maney, anything on legislative or planning?
No.
Board of Health meets in 2 weeks for our final meeting of the year, here at 6:30 on Wednesday, the 20th, I believe it is. Recreation, Mr. Roman, anything on Rec or Pride?
Recreation meets tomorrow and nothing on Friday.
Mrs. Stewart, MOTV or Community Action, anything?
Nothing on TV. Community Action Panel's already started the planning for 2018.
Thank you. Does anyone from the public wish to be heard at this time? If you do, just go up to the thing, just state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Oborn. I live at 33 West Mill Road in Long Valley, so I'm visiting today. But I'm here on behalf of my church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who we have a congregation here in Roxbury, but many of our members live and have grown up here. Just for background, our church was established in 1830 in upstate New York, not too far from here, and with 6 members, and has since grown to almost 16 million around the world. Here I'm the director of public affairs and community outreach for the Morristown Stake, which is like a diocese. We have 10 congregations that go from Madison to Clinton up to Sparta and over to Mountain Lakes. So we have 10 congregations here in this area. 4 are Spanish speaking, so we serve a large Hispanic community. And part of something that makes our church unique is that we have full-time missionaries that go out on missionary service for 18 months to 2 years. Currently, around the world, we have 70,000 plus missionaries, ages 18 to 23, that take about 1.5 years or 2 years off of their life. They put it on hold and they go off and they serve their mission, or do their missionary service. We have 2 of these missionaries here with us tonight who are from Arizona and Idaho. So the Arizona one is just getting ready to start his winter here, which would be new for him. But like I said, there's over 422 missions around the world. These missionaries receive their assignment from church headquarters in Salt Lake and are sent to any one of these countries where governments will allow them to operate. The male missionaries are addressed as elders and the women as sisters. And their missionary work involves teaching the tenets of our gospel, which seems obvious, right? But also involves humanitarian work or service in the community, and then visiting and supporting the members of our congregation. And so each week, the full-time missionaries will spend 6 to 8 hours in serving in the community. Currently, I think they serve in the Hackettstown Trinity Church food pantry and thrift store. So it could be any number of things. So if you have ideas for community service, please let us know. But this is a voluntary work, and the missionaries, they fund their own way for these 2 years. So either their families or themselves will pay for this. And they basically, they put aside school, they put aside fun. Like where they're out here, they don't see movies. They are focused on this work full time. The reason I'm here tonight is that a member of your community, Haley Baldwin, and her family, they just moved here from Memphis, Tennessee while she was on her mission. So she's not really from here, but her family lives here now, and her brothers and sisters will be raised in your community. And she just returned from Washington State. And so I thought it's a good opportunity for her to come and for you to listen to her experiences and to hear something good that's being done in the community and what she's planning to do in the future. So if you have any questions, please ask her afterwards. But Haley?
Hello, like you said, my name is Haley Baldwin, and I live at 26 Corey Road in Mount Olive. I moved here a month ago as I concluded my mission in Washington State. Wasn't expecting my family to move, but it's been a good change. We absolutely love living here. My family, my parents looked high and low for a place to live, as my dad's job got moved from Memphis. The company Bayer bought the formulations lab that he was working at, so they moved him here. And it's been a really lovely place to live. I've really enjoyed it, even though there is a big difference between New Jersey, Tennessee, and Washington. I've enjoyed the change. During my mission in Washington State, I met all different types of people from all walks of life, and I was able to help so many people, to be able to see a big change in them, to be able to answer their spiritual questions and help them connect it to a material thing, but as well as to do service, to be able to see that hope and that joy and that happiness that people have as you reach out to them and talk to them. And I'm grateful that here in Mount Olive that there are missionaries here doing the exact same thing, reaching out to people that are looking for those answers and that help. I'm grateful that my family is living here, that it has the everything that I would look for my family to be here. In January, I will be going back to school at Brigham Young University, and I went to almost 2 years of that before my mission. So I'm excited to go back there and come back here in the summer. Hopefully I'll get an internship. There's a lot better chances here for that, internships in design, than in Tennessee. But definitely, if you know anyone or if you have any questions about service or anything like that, I really encourage everyone to reach out to the missionaries here. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share about me and my family, and I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you very much, and welcome to Mount Olive, and good luck, and thank you for all that you do as well, the mission works and all, and thank you for your church as well, the good works they do. Appreciate it all. And to you guys too, welcome.
Just to let you know, there are many needs in Mount Olive because government here is not really set up for social services. There are many groups that could benefit through missionary practice, and I suggest that you contact either Lisa Brett in the mayor's office or you contact the health department in terms of the senior outreach that we have. So there are many opportunities and needs in the community, and we welcome your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else from the public wish to be heard at this time? Seeing none, close to the public. Council comments, Mr. Ferrante, anything?
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Lebo?
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Mania?
Nothing.
Ms. Stewart?
Echoing the mayor's congrats to the high school football team as well as the parents and all the support groups for it. And then one other big shout out. New Jersey Biz recognized one of our local businesses, Jersey Girl Brewing, as an emerging business of the year last night.
Nice.
Saw that. Congratulations to them.
Great.
Yeah.
Mr. Roman?
I'd like to add that I think I contributed to Jersey Girls' success.
Not as much as Greg did.
Not as much as Greg. And I have nothing. Do we have?
I wasn't
Oh,
done.
not yet.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
First, I'd like to thank you, Ms. Baldwin, for coming up and telling us of the volunteer work that not only you and this gentleman here do. It's definitely apropos for the season. It's seeing that other people give up their time selflessly kind of encourages one to also do in kind. So I why some may think, why come up here and tell us about the good that you're doing, it kind of reawakens that giving and that volunteering and the rest of us. So thank you again for what you're doing. And now.
Now you're done. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all for coming.